Most of the violists that I know are interested in expanding the viola repertoire. Although we have many wonderful works written for the instrument, we can always use more. And when the great benefactors of contemporary music, Linda and Stuart Nelson, approached me and offered to commission a work for me, I immediately thought, why not a viola concerto? And why not have Aaron J. Kernis write that concerto?
I'm very excited about this new viola concerto for Paul Neubauer. It's a substantial new work, I think, and the fact that Paul is one of the world's great violists really inspires so much from me, I think, and he draws such beautiful colors out of the instruments that I couldn't help but be thrilled to write this. There are many qualities that are very special in Paul's playing. First of all, he draws a great variety of colors and emotions out of the instrument. It's a very rich and resonant and expressive sound. Paul's playing and the sound of the viola lent this piece a very lyrical and expressive quality that wouldn't have been the case for another instrument. So it's really uniquely tailored for Paul and for the viola. The first movement of the concerto is called Braid. I'd been searching for something that described many layers being woven together and increasing in density, increasing in information, and that's what happens a lot in the piece. It builds up for a while, then recedes, then builds up more, and from there the concerto gets going. In contrast to the first movement, the second movement is lyrical, expansive, and a bit sad rather than rhythmic.
The first movement that I received from Aaron was the second movement. And he said, this is perhaps my most Brahmsian writing. It has a warmth, a roundness, a depth that very much appeals to me. I've always been drawn to it. So I really feel that Aaron looked at the viola and looked at me and said, this is the most appropriate piece to write for Paul, and I appreciate that.
The third movement is a huge series of variations called A Song My Mother Taught Me. It's based on two sources, the most important being a Yiddish folk song called Tumbalalaika. The second important quote in this piece is from Robert Schumann. A tune from a piano piece of his just wouldn't leave my mind, and I went on a search to find this tune. I couldn't figure out where it came from. Once I finally found it, I incorporated it from the very beginning of the piece, first in its insistent rhythm, and then the melody itself appears in the viola. But following the Schumann melody, it's sort of as if the music is in search of its melody for a long time. And it takes a good 15 minutes to actually find that original melody. So it's really a series of backward variations where you get the variations first, and gradually the melody comes into focus. And then the music takes off in a huge emotional frenzy. This new concerto is a huge journey. A highly emotional one, and at times a very unsettling one. It goes very far afield from extremely consonant, melodic, almost joyful music to the most dark and the most melancholy aspects, both of the viola's personality and of these massive orchestral tuttes. I hope audiences have a very strong reaction to this piece and hope that it will find its way out in the world with such an amazing soloist and wonderful musician at its center.
I hope that 20 years from now I'll look back and I'll see that I've performed the work many times with various orchestras and that lots of other violists have as well, and that it's become part of this staple of the repertoire. And that will really make me happy to know that I had something to say in a work that is living on, and I'm looking forward to that day.